I'm Patrick Roth, Senior Support Engineer for E1 Business Solutions. Today we're going to talk about an odd issue I ran into with a customer trying to use a CRM query to pull contact information out of SmartConnect and then send it to whatever destination. And what they found after adding the contact entity in and picking whatever fields that they want, one of the fields that they needed in the destination was the linked contact account ID for this customer. And not all of the customers are signed, but generally they were. And so they were puzzled to find not pulling any data. So I tested this out, and sure enough, I could reproduce the problem. So here's the contact, and we see that I picked a few fields that probably should contain data, and including this count ID, which would be the linked customer. Now, in this case, this data set, not very many are linked, but there are some. And so if we have SmartConnect pull that query, we see it's pulling some data, the address isn't filled in, we got some date times and whatnot, but indeed the account ID is empty for all of them. So that's, it's not impossible that that is true, that none of them are linked, but in this case, there definitely are more than a handful that are, and it's not showing a SmartConnect. So of course the question is it always comes down to, is SmartConnect not showing me the data? Why is it not SmartConnect showing me the data? And the question is it SmartConnect or is it CRM? And that's not easy to prove just looking at this, because we don't know what came back from it. But we can tell if we use a tool like Fiddler. So Fiddler is going to make the call, watch the call out, and it will show you the data coming back. So if we have Fiddler running, we turn it on, and again request data. We can flip back to Fiddler, and we can see that there was a call out. We're going to execute a request and get a query, and here's the columns that we don't want all the columns, we just want these few, and we do note that count ID is one of the fields that we say, hey, we need the data back for. So if we look at the response back, it's returning us entity data. And if we look at the values, we see a few of the values, but we don't see the data coming back from this particular field. So SmartConnect isn't showing the data because it's not receiving the data. And so that does make sense. So the question is in this case, why isn't the CRM query returning the data call that we were expecting? And not sure how to tell. A CRM expert might know why that is, but from our seat, we can't tell that. So if we need this value, is there any way we're going to really get it? And it turns out we can work around this. So in this case, this is the account ID. So we're going to expect it, in this case, to be pulling back from an account. So I'm going to add the account entity to this. And we notice that, of course, we have the account ID. So this is the same one. So we're going to link those together. And let's mark the account ID. So we're going to have it in both places now. Normally, you'd probably select the all from left. But in this case, well, actually, let's leave that. We'll do that. And then let's pick a different field. Let's pick the account name, just so we can see whether we're pulling data back, whether we're not. The name would be populated in this case. So if we join that in, again, using our left outer join and not the default inner join, it will again ask CRM for the data for this new response. And we can see that it did work. So here's one record where it did match, and we can see this is the account ID. And of this record, we can still see that the account ID that's in the contact is still the same column, is still blank, again, for whatever reason, but we see that it did return. And if I would sort by this value, we do see that there are quite a few records that do have a linked customer, and it worked. So in this case, to work around whatever's going on here, we could just unmark this one because it's blank anyway, and now in our mapping, we can use this value. And if I only cared about the ones that were linked, of course, then I would just go back and unmark select all from Lex. So now it says basically is essentially an inner join from a SQL perspective. It's not CRM perspective, but that's what it comes out to be. And now we find that we do get the data for our account IDs. I can get the account name if I wanted it. And now it just shows me the records that were the linked ones and that were found. So this should work around the problem, and you was able to work with that.